Hello, welcome to No Tracers, the podcast all about urban exploring. This one is one that you don't want to miss. Welcome to the podcast. This is No Tracers. If you've been wondering what goes on behind the closed doors of abandoned places, if you want to know the stories of the people who explore the rot and decay, well, this is the podcast you've been looking for. I'd like to welcome you to No Tracers. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the show. This is No Tracers. I am your host, Kay. I am known as No Tracers. You can find me on all social media at No Tracers. Links are all in the description. This week, I'm super excited to have BigBankz back on the show. This is the third time we've chatted on No Tracers, but the last time we talked was at the end of 2021. So I'm very excited to catch up with him and see kind of what has been going on in his world of urban exploring over the past couple of years. Not only that, but what's been going on in his personal life, things like that. We're just catching up. It's a catch-up episode, and I'm super stoked that he reached out and said that he wanted to come back on the show. And I love chatting with the guy. I've explored with him, and he's super cool, and I love that he is making a living doing what he loves, chasing his passion. And so we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that he's been exploring recently. So if you're into that, stick around. The show is great. If you are new, hit the subscribe button because, this show is so much fun to record. I love chatting with urban explorers. And if you are new to the show and you haven't listened to the previous episodes, please go back and check them out. There's over 100 episodes full of stories from your favorite urban explorers, their trials, tribulations, injury stories, run-ins with security, just crazy stuff. I've had rooftoppers on. I've had all kinds of different explorers on. And if you want to come on No Tracers, hit me up. You can hit me up on Instagram at no.tracers, or you can email me, contact@notracers.com. And if you go to notracers.com, last thing before we jump into the episode, you can check out my 2 urban exploring photography books, No Tracers and Urban Explorer's Diary, or How to Explore Abandoned Buildings. Those are my 2 photography books, and I love them both. They were really fun to make, and if you want to pick up a copy, I will sign it for you and mail it out to you, no matter where you live in the world. And there's also some cool merch items. I don't know if you want a t-shirt, hat, backpack, duffel bag to carry your props in. If you do like costume stuff in abandoned places for photography, I have a duffel bag. There's a bunch of different things on notracers.com. Go check it out. Check out the blog. Check out the video content. It's a good time. But yeah, this is the No Tracers podcast. Let's get into this episode with BigBankz. Let's see what he's been up to. Yeah, it's been, I just looked, it's been 3 years since I've had you on the show. We got to catch up. Yeah, like December 2021 was the last time I had you on here, and that was after your big trip to Turkey.
Oh, yeah. There's lots happened since then.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear kind of what's been up and kind of where you've been and how this whole journey has been for you. Take me back. What's been up over the past couple of years, man?
Let's see, 3 years, Turkey. I've done quite a few trips. I've done some crazy spots. Gone viral a few times. What else has happened in my life? I'm sure you've heard, and everybody else has too, about the whole Pennsylvania thing with that mall.
Wait, what? I haven't heard about this. Please inform me.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
I was on CBS News because I got charged for Century 3 Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got charged for that place.
Oh my god.
And I did it like 2 years ago.
Wow.
And you know how people like on Facebook, they repost stuff?
Yeah.
So like 2 years go by, no trouble, nothing like that.
Sure.
And then my buddy Steve, Steve Ronan.
Yep.
He posted it on Facebook, and I'm in it. And somebody gave a tip to the police there of my name, and they tried to charge me with felony trespassing.
Wait, why felony trespassing? It's a mall.
Because they were like, because they assumed that I had went like that same month that he posted it, even though it was 2 years ago. And within that month that he posted it, the place was all boarded up and stuff. So they were like, literally on the news, they're standing outside of the mall saying like, this man from Oklahoma came all the way over here and he broke in And we don't know how he got in, but we assume that he pulled the board off of this door. And I'm like, what?
Wow. So
I'm like, you have no proof of anything.
Right. No, there's no footage of it. There's no... Jesus, dude. So...
Well, and when we went, it was like there was no security. It was wide open. Like, we were like one of the first people to go.
Right.
And it was just wide open.
Jesus.
So, of course, went to court and everything, and they dropped it because it was 2 years ago. They had zero proof of anything.
Right.
And it was just a waste of time and money.
Oh, my God. Yeah, and, like, you have to pay your legal fees, and you have to pay to get there, and, like... No, they don't. That's on you, bro. Like, they don't give a shit.
Exactly. It pissed me off.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, we've had a few guests on the show that have had some similar issues, and I've had to like remove podcasts because they're in court proceedings and all that stuff. Which, like, I get it, of course. Like, I'm not trying to like give the law more evidence of like what it is we do, because it is in this gray area, and it's like. So, I've definitely had people reach out and be like, yo, can you take it down for now until I get this sorted out? I'm like, yeah, for sure. No problem. And
yeah, mine's already done.
Yeah. It's just like, to me, it's like we have bigger issues in this country than like some dude going into an abandoned mall, It's just wild to me how that side of things works. But I'm glad you got that taken care of. I'm glad they dropped everything. And, it's just like, on to the next thing. And let me ask you this, because I mean, you go overseas a lot for different urban exploring things. Do you think that it's or have you seen that it's like easier to do abroad than it is here, like urban exploring? Or is it, do you go into it over there with the mindset like, if I get arrested in this country, I'm fucked?
No, over there it's way chill.
Yeah.
Like, well, it depends on what country you're in.
Course.
So like, it's like, if say Turkey, for example, if I would have got caught there, I probably would have gotten in pretty big trouble.
Yeah.
But like, say France, Italy, Western Europe, like that. No, it's chill. Like, you literally go over there, and I'll give you this. Like, Jeremy, me and him, we went to France, and we went to this one castle, and instead of no trespassing signs, the signs on the doors said no Urbex. Like, we were like, what?
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they know exactly what's going on there.
Wow.
And so it's not like, and when you're over there and you're an American and nobody speaks English,
yeah,
you can play that.
I'm dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's pretty chill over there. Trespassing is not like as big of an issue, or it's not as big of like a deal to people over there as it is over here.
Sure.
Like, people aren't as protective over things,
right?
Especially because there's not a lot of vandals out there either.
Yeah. That that definitely it definitely depends. Like, the most vandalizing thing that people do abroad, like in Europe, would be graffiti. Like, they're not going in breaking shit. I think it's a totally different mindset over there. And I've done Greece, Portugal, a couple places here and there, and like Antwerp, and it's like you said, like, it's totally different. It's very like lax. I mean, in Portugal, I went up to a place that had a security guard, and the guy that was with me literally just asked the security guard if we could go check it out, and he was like, "Yeah, just drive in, park wherever you want, go ahead." Like, it's not that big of a deal, It's like, we take things so seriously here, and it's like nobody owns this building anymore. Like, it doesn't matter, So it's like,
exactly.
It's just interesting to see the kind of the differences. So
let me tell you this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, as of right now, there's and I don't want to say this guy's name or anything, because I don't want to give him like any credit for what he's doing, because it's awful and it's really hurting me. So there's this blogger, okay, and this is how a lot of people are getting my spots, and my spots getting like destroyed. This guy is like very, very good at geolocating places. Like, he found a place off of my video from a bag of bread.
What?
Yeah, I have no clue how he saw that.
Whoa.
And he also found one of my places off of the light poles and the power lines, how they were lined up. I was like, bro, like...
Wow, that's actually crazy.
But and I respect for that.
Sure.
But what he does is he then writes a blog saying like, oh, he's telling this bogus fake story. And, I'm not even going to lie. Sometimes I do make up a story because I don't want the place to get found.
Yeah, you're trying to protect a spot.
Yeah, if I say too much, it's going to get found and destroyed because you can just Google that stuff. That's how I find the information anyways. Mm-hmm. And then what he does on top of that is he puts the location on the blog.
Wow.
He calls me a phony and all that stuff. And then he takes it one step further and he calls the owners of the places and basically like snitches on me.
What does he get out of this?
I have no idea.
Like, is it like a clout thing? Is it...
I don't know. I think he's just bored. Like,
yeah, is he an explorer?
No, he's not.
So he's just some dude that's like fucking
just
with
some
you.
dude. Just some dude that writes a blog.
I think he is in love with you, and he's trying to get your attention. Because why else? Why else, dude?
I've had to remove 3 videos because of this guy.
What, bro? Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Dang.
So
I mean,
it's been hurting me.
Yeah, that sucks. And I get like why you're removing the videos because you want to protect that spot. But I mean,
and also I don't want to get in trouble.
Of course.
It's not worth. Because he's trying to pin me on other things. He's trying to say like I'm slandering or I'm being a thief and stuff like that.
Jesus.
And that's not the case at all.
Yeah. I know that you like pride yourself on being like the not only like the best at what you do, but like you have integrity. Like you're not going around like doing all this stuff, and it's crazy to see that this is happening. And I'm not surprised, to be honest. I know that there's a couple explorers, not explorers, people out there that are definitely like, I guess, jealous of what you've got going on, what other bigger explorers got going on, and so they're trying to like get their names out there somehow, and that this is the best way they know how to do it is to like tear you down in what you're doing. And damn, dude, I talk all the time about like how unfortunate it is to be a part of a community that is so shitty. Like I love this community because there's great people in it. I've made great friends in this community, but there's that other side of it where it's like so toxic and there's so much drama that like I almost don't want to be a part of it.
Of course, yeah. I try not to even associate myself with the community much anymore. I have like my circle of people, and that's kind of what I stick to now.
Yeah, I think that's the best way, because otherwise you're just going to get dragged into stuff over and over and over again, and it makes it not fun to do. So I've been the same. I've definitely like pulled away from like the quote unquote community, and I've just kind of stuck to doing my own thing or with my like close circle as well. So I think that's the best option. And with how much I travel for work, it's like hard to even keep up with the community anyway. Like I just don't care enough, honestly. But so looking at your map of places that you've got, if you had to guess how many pins you have on your map.
So I have 2 maps. Okay. I have one that I made like a while back that still has some spots I haven't done on it, and that map has like 900 spots.
Okay.
And then I have another map that has, I can actually just look right now. It tells me. I think it's right around 1,400.
Wow.
That's just in America too.
Wow.
So let's see, saved 1,552 on my Urbex map.
So are these like you've been to them, or you are planning to go to them, or is this just your map of everything?
I've been to a majority. Wait, sorry, you cut out there.
Yeah, you're good.
You there?
Yeah, I was asking like, is this map stuff you've explored already, or is this like a mix of like you haven't and you have?
It's a mix, but I've explored a majority of them.
Okay.
A lot of them are just empty, gutted stuff, like especially in the South, because that's where I go most of the time. So, and out there, it's really hit or miss on whether it's going to be a time capsule or not. So a lot of pins I have, I probably need to remove because I've already checked them out. But there's still a bunch on there that I haven't gotten to go to yet. Yeah. that I'm like really looking forward to, and I have a big trip coming up this at the end of this month. My buddies are actually coming to Oklahoma, and we're going to explore here.
Nice.
and then go through like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi,
Hell yeah.
all that stuff.
That's awesome, dude. So I'm from Oklahoma, so I have like kind of an affinity towards that place, but I also like low-key am not a fan just because I grew up there, you know. It's like not my favorite place, but so for you, like, this is so outside of Urbex, but I'm still curious as far as like the weather goes.
Yeah.
So there's like, obviously it's Tornado Alley, you know, it's known for its crazy weather out there. Have you ever done any like storm chasing type shit? Is that like up your alley, or are you like, get me the fuck away from this?
I would actually love to do that, but I've lived here my entire life. I've never seen a tornado in person.
What? Wait a second. Actually?
Swear, never.
Dude, I have so many photos of like, so I grew up partially there, moved overseas, and then eventually came back. And the week I got back, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back to Oklahoma just because I don't know where else to go for now. And literally like 2 days after I got there, I was with some friends and we went to a gas station, pulled out of the gas station, and there was a literal like F3 out the right side of the car, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? That surprises me. That surprises me.
I've never seen one in person.
Dang.
Like, I don't know if I'm just never in the right area,
right,
or what. I live up like towards Guthrie.
Oh, okay.
And I know most tornadoes happen towards like Moore.
Yep.
And like Norman area. Mm-hmm. And I'm just never down there.
That's
so
fair.
I just don't know. Like, I want to see a tornado. I think it'd be badass. But one of my buddies that's coming out here, he actually is hoping that there's a tornado somewhere so we can go storm chase. And I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely do tornado tours, which is something that I would love to do. You basically pay a chaser to like ride along with them for like a week, and they just go find them. It's pretty crazy, but I would love to do something like that for sure. Because I mean, I grew up and I wanted to be a storm chaser because like, what else is there to do in Oklahoma?
Yeah, there's not a lot to do. I think I just like it here because, you know, I've been so many places, and you know, I'm kind of a homebody as well at the same time. So being here and being like less traffic, and
sure,
kind of like just away from everything is kind of nice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a big reason I moved to Tennessee, was because I was sick of like the LA hustle and bustle. I was like, I need to slow down for a second. So I, came out here and love it out here. It's great.
Oh yeah, Nashville. Like I love all of Tennessee, especially Nashville. And if I was to move anywhere else, I'd probably move to like Alabama, like northern Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that area is pretty sick too.
Yeah, I love it out there. Plus, most of my friends, I don't really have many friends here in Oklahoma.
Sure, for sure. So over the past couple of episodes, I've started asking my guests to ask the next guest a question. So I've got a couple questions here from different people, and I would like to ask you some of them because I think they're amazing. So Tact, his question is, what was your wildest security encounter?
Wildest security encounter? So it probably Turkey, that theme park.
Yeah.
So we spent one entire day just driving around the place, like figuring out where security is.
Jeez.
Like where to enter at, you know. So we were like, we're going to take a little bit of a chance here, and we're going to walk in the parking lot. We're just going to like be in the parking lot because the parking lot was open. There wasn't any cars there, but it was open. So we just parked and walked around. And the security guard came up to us. And he was actually really nice. And he brought us into his little guard shack, whatever. And then he just pulls out like a bag of like assorted nuts and just gave it to us. And then he just started talking to us through Google Translate.
Dang.
And what he didn't realize he was doing was he was giving us all the intel we needed.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
To get into the place. He was like, "Yeah, we don't go in there. It's dangerous in there. There's dogs and wild animals in there." Sick. And we were like, "Oh, okay, cool. So you guys don't drive around?" They're like, "No."
That's amazing. Thanks.
We're like, "Okay, cool. So they're not going to come in here looking for us."
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
So that's like one of the only security encounters I've had.
That's amazing. What an interesting like interaction to have with a security guard. Like you got all the intel you needed. That's incredible.
For sure.
So let's see. Zach Visuals, his question is on risk management. Where do you draw the line on risk?
On risk. I don't know. So like, what I do, I mean, because I know most explorers out there don't typically just go for houses like I do. Like I typically really only look for houses.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say where I draw a line on risk because, especially after a house that I just did, you probably think I'm crazy when I tell you this story. But me and my buddies were down south and we found this house. It was this house was given to me by another explorer, Silent Hills Exploration, and he told me to go check it out because it was just like a check. So we were like, okay, yeah, we'll go check it out for you. Then we get there, shows every sign of being abandoned. Driveway's all kind of messed up. Doesn't look like it's been driven down. Weeds growing on everything, overgrown, the whole 9 yards. But then you walk up to it and there's a BMW parked in the driveway. And it's fairly new, probably like 2021. Okay. So it's fairly new BMW. The tags are still good, but there's a box sitting behind it. It's been sitting there forever. It's got a thin layer of dust on it, the car.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, that's a little weird. Maybe it's recently abandoned.
Sure.
We walk to the backyard, the pool, filthy green.
Yeah.
Trees growing inside of it.
Sick.
Everything, like cobwebs on everything. And then we find a way in. It's through a little window. And we go inside, and there's still power. There's still internet.
Okay. Wait, how did you know there was internet? Did you see a router, or were you trying to connect to Wi-Fi?
The router box was on, and we looked at our phones, and it shows up on there, the same one that was on the box.
Wow.
And then the alarm system was still connected to every door and every window except for that one we entered through.
Huh.
And then the real kicker is we turned on the TV, and the debate was on.
Shut up.
Yeah, and it was it was the day after the debate, and we were like,
okay,
what's going on?
That's creepy.
But the whole house covered in cobwebs.
What?
Everywhere. Like I could not. When we left, I was covered in cobwebs. Like you cannot walk through the house without getting covered in cobwebs.
Huh.
And it was just one of those things where I was like, I typically would not explore this. This seems like it could be lived in by somebody that's kind of gone crazy, kind of lost their mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe they're depressed.
Right.
I don't know. But we were there for like 5 hours and nobody showed up.
Dude, it's like, okay, this is a big reason I don't do houses, because like you never know if some crazy person's going to come out of the shadows and be like, what are you doing in my house? Especially in the South.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, this guy, we didn't think that he would be living like that because he's a lawyer.
Oh.
Like, that's what we looked up the guy, and it says he's like a pretty prestigious lawyer there. And I'm like, there's no way he lives in this.
Yeah, maybe he's disgruntled or that's his other property. But that's fucking weird.
Or maybe he doesn't do lawyer. Maybe he's not a lawyer anymore. And
right.
He's just like kind of depressed or.
Ooh. That gives me the chills.
I don't know, but we got really lucky because we actually drove by it a couple days later, and there was a red truck parked there, and the guy that same guy was standing outside.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like with all this, it's all about like timing, and like I hate to say like, because people are like, oh, you're so lucky, you get to go do the like. And I usually say, like, luck's got, like, very little to do with it. But in urban exploring, I feel like luck has a lot to do with getting into these places. Like, luck and timing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I feel like our timing is impeccable. Like for every place.
Yeah.
I feel like it's crazy.
And it's like there's no rhyme or reason. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just like you're there at the right time or you're not.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And then, let's see, Exploring with Nomad, his question is, do you have any good luck charms? Is there anything that you bring with you into these places or that you wear or anything like that?
I feel like Nomad would ask that question.
Exactly.
I love that guy.
Yes.
Let's see, good luck charm? Not Not really. I don't have anything like specific that I just bring that I think brings me good luck. I don't know. I feel like I just have, I don't know if, who's religious out there, but I feel like I just got God on my side sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
So that's just, I feel like that's how my whole thing works.
Got you.
So, yeah, I'd say that's what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, so I personally am not religious. I grew up in a Roman Catholic church in Oklahoma. So I kind of grew up in that world, and I was like, as I grew up and moved overseas, I was like, oh, this ain't all it's cracked up to be, whatever. But that's just personal opinion. But my uncle, he knows that I explore abandoned places, and I think like 7 years ago, he gave me this bracelet, and he handed it to me, and he was like, you should wear this when you go into these places because you don't know what's in there. And it was blessed by the Pope. Just wear it. And I was like, all right. So, I mean, I don't know if any of that's real. I don't know if it's just woo-woo, whatever. But, like, maybe it's something. But I always wear it, So it's like that's kind of
you feel like it brings you you feel like it brings you luck?
I don't know if it does or not. But, I mean, it somehow makes me feel better, I guess. So I guess that's kind of what it's all about, right?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And then Unknown Asbestos' question is, how far would you travel for a spot? And I know you've traveled very far.
Pretty much anywhere, honestly.
Anywhere. Man's trying to go to the moon.
I would go, I'd go I've been all the way across the world.
Sure.
So, and I literally went to Turkey for one place.
Right.
Like, if that tells you anything.
Right.
I went to this third world country for one spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'd pretty much go anywhere, honestly.
Sure. So let me ask you this, because I know you do a lot of houses, mansions, things like that. Like, what is it about houses that draws you so much?
I feel like, okay, so, and don't get me wrong, I do love other places.
Sure, of course.
But hospitals and, schools, things like that, to me, they get really repetitive.
Interesting, okay.
And the stories kind of are all pretty similar,
Sure.
Just, things like that. But with houses, everybody has their own taste, with decor, with their work that they did, their story behind their lives.
Yeah.
Everybody is different. So when it's houses, I feel like I'm stepping into somebody's life that nobody ever knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? And obviously everybody forgot about, because their stuff is all still here and nobody's caring for it. So everybody just forgets about these people. And it's really sad,
Sure.
And I just like kind of diving into like the history of like the people that live there and hearing their story. Because I'm a people person. I love to talk to people.
Sure.
And seeing these places in these homes, especially ones for very extraordinary people. I'm sure like everybody has seen like that designer's house.
Yep.
That the story behind that guy is absolutely fascinating. Like, and getting to walk through and see his life, and this guy was famous,
Sure.
And seeing how he lived was just like breathtaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just with houses, I feel like every story is a bit different, and every person has a different taste. So it's every house is unique in their own way.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I never really like thought about it that way, but it's true. Everyone's got their own taste, and everyone kind of crafts their home in their own way, and like has trinkets that are like kind of like speak about them.
Yeah,
so
like you can like some people leave behind stuff that they got when they traveled the world.
Exactly.
Like I just did a house where it's this older guy that passed away a few years ago, and he has stuff that he got from when he traveled to Barbados, from when he traveled to Spain, when he traveled to Portugal. Like there's his little knickknacks that he got when he was traveling still in there. So it's cool to see like what these people did in their lives when they were still living.
Sure. Yeah, I know that is fascinating. I'm looking at like I love collecting trinkets when I travel as well. It's like I don't know, just a little piece of the place you went to, you bring it back with you. So it's looking at my stuff, like when I go, like all this shit's still gonna be here, and that is interesting, and it'll kind of tell a story of like where I went and like what I did. So it's very fascinating to like have that perspective on it.
Exactly.
Has anything ever made you want to like stop exploring? Like any experience you've had where you were like, whoa, I gotta like chill for a second?
Yeah, I mean, there's just, because I've been doing this as like kind of like work. I make money on it. So there's been times where I have other stuff going on in my life and I'm just like, man, I just don't feel like doing this. Like I'm just stressed out about everything else. Like, so there's definitely been times where I feel like, man, I just want to quit. But then like, all it is I just take a little bit of a break. Like maybe, especially if I have some videos like saved up. So like, I'm not like kind of going broke or anything.
Right.
Then I'll be like, I'll just take a little break and let these few videos run out, and then I'll probably feel better by the end of it. And usually I do. Yeah. I don't like feeling that burnout feeling.
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
Definitely getting in trouble definitely puts a damper
for sure
on things.
For sure.
That Pennsylvania thing made me want to. I think I stopped for like 40 days when that happened.
Yeah.
Like I didn't post or go exploring for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And that was rough.
For sure, for sure.
So usually it's just getting in trouble or just stressful things going on in my life. Plus, I have some other stressful things that have kind of happened. I don't know if you've like kept up with anything or seen, but I last year, at the beginning of last year, I went through a divorce. Got cheated on, everything like that. Then got like my money like kind of taken away from me, and that was hard.
Yeah.
And then spent a little bit of time alone, and then I actually reunited with the first girl I ever dated, and we're engaged now.
Wow, congrats, man.
But she had a son while the time we were apart.
Sure,
we were apart for 10 years.
Okay.
We dated in high school, and then I met back up with her. She has a son who's 7 years old, and then we just found out that he's been diagnosed with muscular dystrophy.
Oh man.
Which is an awful.
Yeah, debilitating.
And there's no cure for it, and
right.
it's a fatal disease. Typically people don't make it past like 25 years old.
Right.
And hopefully things are coming out, like new studies and stuff for medicines. So hopefully, he's only 7 years old, so hopefully there's plenty of time for things to help him.
Sure.
At least slow the progression.
Right,
down.
right, yeah.
So going in with all that too makes things a bit stressful. Taxes.
Yeah, no kidding.
YouTube doesn't, withdraw taxes, so you have to do it yourself.
Course.
And nobody ever taught me how to do that. So I had to pay a ton of taxes in, and then I bought a house, and then I had to pay all that money in. So I was like broke.
Yep.
So it's just like a whole lot of other things that kind of put a damper on me, like going out and exploring. And then, but after, it's been probably about a couple months now since all that happened. So now I'm like good. I just got back from a trip, filmed a few videos, and they're really good places too. And had a lot of fun doing it too. Like got to meet up with my friends.
Hell yeah.
And just it's even better when you find new places that people haven't been to.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that feeling is great too.
Yeah, it makes you feel like like an old school explorer from like the 1600s or whatever. Like you discovered the thing. Like that's
exactly.
That's there's no better feeling than being like the first.
We found some new spots out down south, and they were all like really, really good.
Nice.
So we got pretty lucky on that.
Hell yeah, dude. I went on tour recently. It was like a 6-week long tour, and I got to hit a couple spots while I was out, and it's cool like getting out to different parts of the country and seeing like the difference in architecture and Georgia versus Maryland, like stuff like that. It's super interesting to kind of see like even just in America like the different styles that are out there. And I hit this skyscraper apartment building, and there was like a penthouse suite, and it was so sick, overlooked the city. Like,
I did that one too.
Dude, I love that spot. I just like I sent it. I was like, I'm gonna go check it out. I have like an hour before we have to load in the venue and that kind of thing, and so just went over, scoped it out. There was like an opening, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna send it 17 flights of stairs later. Just dying.
It was the glass one, right?
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's sick, dude.
when you went in, was that blue barrel still there?
Yes.
Like as the,
yes.
Yeah.
That
I had
was-
to put
that
that
was
there because I was.
You put that there. Okay. I was like,
I was
thank you
having
to
trouble.
whoever put this fucking thing here.
I was having some trouble because I don't know if I was on the podcast when this happened or if it was before this happened, but I got an injury.
Oh shit.
I was with Steve and another guy, Mr. More to Explore.
Yeah.
We were in like Massachusetts or something in some house, and the only way in was through a window that was about 6 foot high, and coming out, I stuck my leg out, put my leg on the ledge, and I was trying to pull my other long ass leg out.
This motherfucker's tall. If you haven't seen Banks, like he's tall as fuck.
Yeah. So I was standing there and like I was kind of in an awkward position trying to pull my leg out.
Yeah.
And what had happened was my knee collapsed and it dislocated my whole knee. Like my knee shifted to the side. Yeah.
God.
So I fell out of this window straight on my back, and I looked like a broken action figure. Like my leg was off to the side. Like it was gross. And I was like screaming, like it hurt so bad. And then I didn't know if it was broken or not because I'd never broken a bone or anything. And Steve comes out, my other friend comes out, and they're like, "Holy shit! Like you look awful."
Thank you.
And they're like, "Yo, the neighbors are calling the cops," and I'm like, "Oh my god! Like what the fuck do I do?"
You're like, but also thank you. Please call an ambulance. Jesus Christ.
Well, actually, what I did was instead of like waiting, I just kicked my leg and popped it back in place. like I felt like a real G doing that, but it hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah, bro.
And they just like Steve got me on his shoulder, like we started like wobbling to the car.
Yeah.
And we got out of there, and like 5 minutes later, a cop pulls in the driveway.
Oh fuck.
But we get there, and it turns out like I popped it back in place good. Like they said, like you're lucky you didn't fuck up your knee.
Wow. Oh my god.
But they're like you tore a few ligaments, but you'll be fine here, and just give it a rest on it for a couple weeks. You'll be all right. And yeah, that was crazy.
Oh, God.
That was a crazy experience.
So funny. So my question is like, because I've had, one of my questions is like, have you ever been injured doing this? The answers are wild on this show. We've had people like their friend got impaled on a fence, just crazy.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, okay, so this crazy injury happens. You go to like the doctor or the ER, whatever. How do you explain what the fuck you were doing? Like, because they're like, oh, what happened? You're like, I was getting out of an abandoned house and fucked my shit up. Like, what?
No, I didn't think I told them that. I think I was just like, I just fell. Like, I just fell and landed on it wrong. Yeah. And they were just like, oh, okay. So and I was just like, yeah, that worked.
It's so
because I don't know how, because some people think what we do is cool. But then I don't want to like chance it on the people to be like, oh, well, he was doing something illegal.
Yeah, yeah. Because most of the time it's like, people are like, oh, that's so interesting. But there's that one chance that the person's going to be like, well, that's a fucking trespassing fine. Let me call somebody. It's like,
exactly,
come on,
exactly.
Man. You don't want to risk that.
And that's cool too because you know how I told you that blogger was like doing that?
Yeah.
So he contacted one of the videos that I did. I did have to take the video down, but I'm actually friends with the owner now of this house. He's like 60 years old.
Okay.
I like call him and he's like, hey man, like your video of my house is actually like really good. You got the history right.
Dang.
Like
okay.
you definitely did your research. He was like, but my brother will probably be really pissed off if he sees it. So
can you please take it down?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was like, he said it was a great video and stuff. And this guy left a Mustang at the house.
Okay.
It's a Cobra Mustang, 94 Cobra Mustang.
Wow.
And I'm actually going to meet with him to possibly buy it.
The car.
Yeah.
Dude,
the car that was in my video.
That's sick, bro. What a cool like connection to make after the fact. It's like, maybe this blogger like kind of has it out for you, but hey, there's a good thing coming out of it. You're about to come up on a fucking cool ass car.
Yeah, when he emailed me the first time, I was like, oh, this is sketchy.
Yeah.
It's like usually they're pissed off.
Of
Why
course.
is this guy being nice?
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. I got an email from this guy, and he was like, hey, I am a paranormal investigator. Do you want to come film at this, like, plantation house? in like out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
sure, like tell me more about you. And so we got on the phone. He was like, yeah, so we're called Blue Line Paranormal. I was like, what the fuck? He was like, yeah, by day we're cops and like paramedics and shit. By night we explore and we do paranormal investigations. And I was like, is this a setup? Are you fucking, is this entrapment right now? Like, are you gonna arrest me when I show up to this place? What is going on?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that at all.
Right, but I did. So I drive out. I brought a friend with me. I was like, don't make me go alone. So I drive out to the middle of fucking nowhere in Tennessee, and this like obviously undercover cop car pulls up behind me, and I'm like, am I getting pulled over? Like, I'm going the speed limit, whatever. And then I come up on the property, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna pull off to the side. The car pulls up beside me. He's like, hey, what's up? It's Gage. I was like, oh my god, this guy's actually a cop. What the fuck? He's like, let's go. Come follow me into the property. So we get into the property. Owner comes out of the place. And they're like, yeah, you guys have like 7 hours. Have at it. And I was like, is this really happening? Like, this is the craziest situation I've ever been in.
Oh
like,
my
exploring
gosh.
a place with cops. Like, seems
been
like the opposite of what should be happening.
I would have been so skeptical of that. Like,
I was very skeptical and sketched out at first. And then, like, you know, one of them is a shaman, so he like blessed us before we went in the house and like did the whole cleansing shit. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, we'll let this happen. We'll just see what happens. And I ended up filming like a whole documentary about like their stories and why they got into this, and like it was pretty fascinating at the end of the day. And you know, like didn't get arrested, so that's sick.
Oh my gosh!
But it was a crazy gamble that I was like, fuck it, let's just see what happens. But it was pretty cool.
At least it worked out.
For sure. But like in no other circumstances would I ever trust the cops in that situation.
Exactly.
But the guy seemed pretty cool. He's on TikTok and shit, and I was like, all right, cool, let's send it. We'll see what happens.
Well, that's chill.
Yeah, man, pretty crazy. So for you, like, what are you looking forward to the rest of this year? I know you've got a big like southern region trip going on. Do you have anything else kind of planned in the works that you're excited for?
Yeah, I got that trip. That's kind of like the main one this year. And then me and Jeremy have been talking about going to Europe.
Cool.
Again, because we did 3 weeks in France one time, and then I think we're talking about going to Spain or Italy.
Cool.
That might be closer to like October-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, it's kind of just like whatever I find. If something piques my interest,
sure.
I just go. You know, that's typically how it is. I've never really been like a planner. You know, like if I find something, I'm like, I got to go right now because I want to be the first one there. You know, so like, you know, a lot of people don't know this, and I've never really talked about it much, but most of and this is crazy for me to even say this. Most of the mansions, like the really good mansions that everybody hits up north, you know, miles and miles and miles away from me.
Yeah.
I was the first one there.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, how's a guy from Oklahoma finding all this while every explorer lives up there?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not trying to like talk bad on anybody, but I just feel like maybe I'm just looking more. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know what you like. You know what you're kind of looking for. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Also, I feel like maybe people like to know it's abandoned before they go.
That's a big part of it, especially houses. I think that people want to know for sure that nobody's living in that place because, like, nobody's trying to get shot.
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes they might wait for me or my friends to
vet the place,
and see that it's doable, and then everybody goes, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's like being a pioneer. What can you say?
Yeah, yeah. But I typically like to stay down south now because there's just less people down there.
Exactly. I feel like everyone's kind of flooded the Northeast specifically.
Yeah, places don't get as like vandalized or burglarized as much down south as they do up north.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't get me wrong, I love the places up north, and I definitely love some of the explorers up north.
Yeah.
But it's just down south is just a different ballgame for me.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you for coming back on here. It was great to catch up with you, and looking forward to chatting with you off air further, just about life and things. And for anybody that doesn't know who you are already, please let them know where they can find you online to keep following your journey.
So I am BigBankz. You can find me on YouTube at BigBankz. It's the Z at the end. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the works. It's all BigBankz.
Well, guys, that was my catch-up episode with BigBankz. Super, super cool of him to come back on the show. And Banks, thank you so much for chatting with me. I mean, you know this, but I appreciate you taking the time out of your life to talk with me about what's been going on, and it was really cool to catch up with you. So thank you again for coming on the show. If you enjoyed this episode, please let me know. If you are watching on YouTube, please leave a comment down below with who you would like me to chat with next. If you want to come on No Tracers, like I said at the beginning of the show, my email and Instagram are down in the description. Reach out. I'd love to have you on the podcast to share your stories. And also, just a little tidbit for you guys if you made it all the way to the end of the podcast. First of all, thank you. Subscribe. And I will soon be featured on an episode of Ghost Adventures. They came across one of my, I guess, viral videos of a place I explored and reached out to me and asked if I could come on the show and chat with them about my experience at that place. And of course I said yes. And so now I'm actually kind of helping them location scout, which is crazy. But yeah, Ghost Adventures. Who would have thought? Anyway, thanks for listening. This is No Tracers, the podcast. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out, go explore something, and remember, leave no motherfucking trace.